Hi, surprise. It's Sunday, and I don't normally go live on Sunday, but this is Ann Cornick from Paint and Porcelain and Paint and Porcelain Exchange. And today I'm just finishing up. I found out that I did need a third fire on my crocus. This is how my crocus came out. Oops, there. And this is what I'm aiming for. This is my final. And can you see? Here, let me pull them side by side. Maybe it's more apparent. Um, There's just some things that are darker on this one than there are on this one. All I'm going for is the depth, the shadow and the depth, just to sort of separate things and what have you. So I thought I would show you that because I know a lot of you did or want to do or have done the crocus, and it's important that you know that, hi Linda, that you can't get it done with just with two fires. You're probably going to need to go back and kind of touch it up, per se. So I'm just going to refresh my page, see if I can see everything, and then I'm going to go ahead and start painting and just showing you how I do a third fire. It's a little bit different. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm going to put you down and I will show you what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm nuts. This guy needs to be adjusted. If you wonder why I always have so many issues with adjusting this thing, part of it is that, there we go. Part of it is that the apparatus that I use to hold my camera, it has like multiple little segments, and so each segment has to be adjusted in order for this to look right. And I really wanted to get it so I could show you more. Let's see if that works better. I'm watching my it's not gonna do it. Okay. Hi Carol, nice to see you out there. So okay, this is the way it looks, and I'm just going to refresh my screen because of course everything disappeared as soon as I started working. Here we go. Good morning. How pretty your crocus plate is. Yes, it did turn out pretty. Here, let me turn it around for you. It did turn out pretty nice, but the problem that I'm having with it is that it's just not as dark as this one is, like separating things. So that's all I'm going to do today. And of course, I can't get through to both of these. That's a shame. Every once in a while, I have this problem where I can't see, and it drives me crazy. So let's see here. Okay. Alrighty. So if I turn it around, see, that's what's weird. It's frozen one way, it's frozen the other. This should look right side up to you. Okay, it does. Okay. So now I'm going to, I'm still having the same problems. I'm going to go ahead and try to mimic what I have here. I'm going to use, gotta open, geez, my turpentine is really sealed. Yeah, I've gone back to turpentine. I like the smell of turpentine, but I also like the way it paints, and it really cleans my brush. So I'm going to clean my brush. Yesterday I was over at our community center, and we did meet the artist, and it really we were so busy we could barely think straight. And we had people who wanted to learn how to paint crocus. So okay, so if I put it this way, it's a little better. Yeah. All right. Let's see if I can do this then. I'm going to be using only the darkest colors, so I'll be using like a Ruby Best and a Royal Violet. I'm going to be using my number 12. This is a 12. I think this is a 12 brush. And this is actually a scarf, but it's the kind that's a quill, so it has the quill on it. And let's see here. I'm not using Ruby Best. I'm going to use the Ruby that Nancy gave us at the, or Nancy had at the thing that we were at, the Indiana show. because I think her stuff is much better. And it's not quite as vibrant as that Ruby Best. Ruby Best is, it's really vibrant, and I don't know if I really want all that, so I'm mixing up this other. When Ruby sits for a while, it gets a little gummy, and sometimes you need to go ahead and just, do that. So, okay. So one of the things I want to do is I want to darken up in this area. So I'm going to use the Ruby to do that. And I'm really going to try to give it some oomph, because I don't think it shows up enough, really, quite frankly. And oh, now that's a little too oomphy, I think. Let's see here. You're going to kind of have to use your own judgment on this. Now that's in the background. That's the inside of the cup of the crocus. So that, I think I'm going to stick with that right now. And then I'm going to go and put a little more of the darkness out here on the edge. Right here. I'm just pulling down, just getting a little. I think I could go a little darker. There, that's better. And I'll pull up a little here. There we go. And then down in here, I also want to get a little darkness. So we'll come down now. I'm putting the darkness here. See how that lifts this petal out and puts it on top? And that's kind of what you're going for. This is just nuts. Let's see how we do this. Okay. I cannot get back to my page. Hang on just a minute. I will do it here. If it kills me, because it drives me crazy when this happens. Here we go. Okay. I don't know why it's giving me such a hard time today, but it is. It's been doing this quite a bit lately, so we'll just keep it on that and see how it does. And now I'm going to go, it still does it. Now I'm going to go and do this side here, because I want it behind that guy. I'm going to come down in here. See how that made a difference there, just the dark paint? And then come down here a little bit. And then the last place that I have to do any is a little right here. Okay? So that kind of, I think, will set that up for a better look in the long run. And I'm using the side that doesn't have any paint on my brush right now. I usually click on the refresh button and that seems to help. I know, Carol, but I have not had any luck with it. It's been horrible. It's like it's always queuing. I don't get it, but it is. Oh, it might be because I also am sending it to another page, so maybe that's why. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on this flower here. And I want it to curl over a little. So I'm taking the same color, that the ruby, and I'm just going to go here and under here like that a little bit. Let it curl down. I think I'm going to have to use a little bit of violet in that to get it to do what I want it to do. This is Royal Violet. I love Royal Violet. Do you use Royal Violet at all? Because if you do, it's really cool. This is a stump that I'm using. It's a cardboard piece. And basically what it does is it manages to let you remove the paint, but it doesn't remove a lot of the, what do I want to say? It doesn't leave the lumps. You know how sometimes you get lumps from removing the paint? you get a buildup of paint, and you don't get that with that. So that's why I like it. I'm going here, making this darker. This is a combination now of the ruby, full load, side load of the violet. Yeah, I like that better there too. And then up here, I'm going to do kind of the same thing. I've got a little turnover right here that I've got, so I'm going to play with that a little bit. And then I'm going to do just ruby and come down in here. And this is where you really have to keep your strokes smooth, because this is your final product. You want a nice, smooth final product. But up here on top, I think I'm going to use a little bit of pink, because I think this needs to be a little pinker. There we go. That's better. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to take my stump, wipe out what I've covered up there, and I might want to do that there, just to make sure that that leaf looks like petal looks like it's on top of the other petal. Okay, so you're trying to get everything as smooth as you can on this final fire. And I had a little turnover. I think it was here. Okay. All right, so that guy's done. Now the only other thing I think I want to do is maybe do a little more in the bottom here. Here, let me see. And I'm going to get the yellow brown out and just do a little bit on this there. That'll help. Okay. Okay, now, moving right along, down here I want to get it more into the purples, but I think I need a little more pink. And so I'm taking like an apple blossom, because I've got the pink I originally used on this, I've used on something, it's on another palette right now. And so I'm just going to do a little bit of apple blossom up at the top here. Get it close to the top, not quite to the top. There we go. And then I'm going to take my violet, and I'm really going to, there, make that violet there. And make this violet here. Oops. Oh, that little bit of stamen got covered there. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the, I'm just playing, so whatever colors you want. What you want to do is make this here a little darker. So I have a combination of the ruby and the violet, because it's mainly pink. If it's mainly pink underneath, you can go the next step darker, which is the ruby. This is ruby, so I would go the next step darker with the violet. That's just the way you do it if you're trying to add depth at this point. Okay, so let me turn it around and let you see what I have so far. And that also gives me an opportunity to smooth some of it. Okay, so I think that does make a difference in the way it looks. You can tell me what you, yeah, you think the same thing? Carol, yeah, I do too. I think it makes a big difference. Okay, and then I think I want to make, these petals are super white. They really shouldn't be super white. They should have a little more pink on them, because after all, it is more of a pinky purple crocus. If I do that, it adds a little, but I still maintain my highlights. There we go. Okay, yeah, I think that works better. I need a little more here. There, that's perfect. Somebody asked me once, well, how do you know when enough is enough? You really don't. You just sort of, I think over the years, you get a feel for it. So if you're worried, just at a certain point, stop and see, you know, what you're doing. Okay, now these guys over here all need something. This one I did a little bit. In fact, I did quite a bit. Let me put a little pink more here, I think. Yeah. All right. These guys, I really want them to be super behind this guy. So I'm going to take my ruby and half load with the royal violet, and I'm just going to go like this. See how that looks? I think that really helps. And then if my stump will allow this to come out a little bit, I can wipe a little of the color off of that just to give it make it pop forward a little bit. The other one that's buried here, this one, this petal here, is buried behind this one. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to full load with the ruby, side load, and remember, you always paint towards yourself. So you're painting from the bottom up because you paint towards yourself. I know it's really hard for a lot of people who are not porcelain artists to get, hi Louise, thank you, to get the hang of is painting from the bottom up, because it's so strange to do that. Now here again, I have that white, and it's really supposed to be pink. So let's get a little pink in here. You never think that you need this much more, but when you're finally almost done with the piece and you stand back and look at it, you can see where doing just these few little things can make such a big difference. This is my stump again, and I'm just using it to lightly kind of separate that out. Okay. Now, I know you know the back here, I'm actually going to leave this one almost all pink. I'm just going to put more pink on it because it's kind of coming out, and so it's almost like it's getting a highlight on it. So I'm just going to leave it pink like that. And then this guy I'm going to do in rose. And remember, when you're going from a light to a dark, you don't really need to clean your brush. It's just when you go from a dark to a light that you really need to clean your brush if they're all the same colors. There we go. Okay. And then take my stump and just kind of, you're just barely touching it. You don't want to take off too much with the stump. You could easily. And then you wipe your stump off. So that's how you do it. Okay. But it makes a difference because you kind of use dashes, and it'll help a lot. This guy over here, I'm going to do ruby because it's, as you can see, there's in fact, I'm going to do pink full load and a ruby side load because there's very little color on it. I just want to sprinkle the color a little bit. There we go. And then here, this is part of the back showing, so I'm going to put purple in there, the royal violet. Some things need 3 coats, some things don't. And I'm also going to put the royal violet up here. And see, I left, let me show you. Okay, right there. I took off all the paint. See how that is, it looks like it's too much white space. And it is too much white space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush with the violet on it, and I'm just going to cut that white space down. Just by doing that, it looks a little nicer. And then this guy is behind this guy here. And then you can kind of play with them, bring them back together. That's why I like my turntable. It seems like it gives me more play. And then this guy down here, I'm in the depths. I'm really gonna, my neighbor is out blowing her leaves. Can you believe that? I thought I wouldn't even worry this early. But, you know, it's beautiful out here. We have beautiful weather, beautiful weather. Can't complain. This is pink, and now I'm doing a little bit of the ruby. And up here I want a little ruby. There we go. That's better. I can always use the stump to bring back what I lost up there, but you just touch it. You don't need to. You just touch it. You don't need to do the heavy duty stuff. Okay. And then I'm going to do my middle guys. Where are you, middle guys? Oh, my pink brush is here. Couldn't find it. Here we go. We'll do these guys. And that guy. Okay. So those are done pretty much. I think they're okay. We'll find out when we put the leaves behind them. So now I do have to clean my brush. I'm going into a different color. And okay, I want to use either a dark green, shading green, or black green. I think, well, I actually have spruce, which is kind of like a dark green. Let's see how it does. That's it. That's exactly the color I wanted. If you do that, see how I did that? Came down the middle there? That'll reinforce that vein in the middle. But you can also use this dark color to cut in and shape your petals. And if you don't like the way they're shaped, you can always go back over them with the thing, the stump. And then you got to shade it out. Oops, got too much paint on there. You got to pull it out a little and just put a little on the edge of here. Here, let me get a little. I took a little chartreuse too because I want a little chartreuse in here. This one didn't have much chartreuse. There we go. Okay, I think that's what I'm going to do. It's a chartreuse and it's a spruce, but it's very much a dark green if you have dark green. Here, look what I'm doing there. I cut that right off, didn't I? And I came down a little further behind this guy. And I think that helps too. You can shape, do the final shaping on your leaves by using this combination on your third fire. See right here, I've got a lot of white. I'm going to get rid of that white and just make it all green. Oops, come here, guy. He's fighting me. There. Put it there, 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 there. And then I come up and do a little bit of this. I always like to do the tops of the leaves. That's just me. I don't know why. But I just think it adds to them. This guy needs it. This is a little too dark here. I'm just gonna, and it was kind of blotchy, so I pulled it out. I need to clean my brush. It's got too much green on it. Sometimes you get so much buildup you don't know what to do, so. Okay, here we go. And we're going to put, oh, that's odd. Okay. We're going to put a little more green here. And I'm going to take my stump and just, yeah, that should be much more, there. It should be much more smooth. And then this is a leaf over here that I mixed a little bit of purple into because we were talking about how you can add color to the leaf and make it really an interesting leaf. And that's what we did back here. So I'm just putting a little more green on this leaf so it looks more like a leaf. There we go. Now down here I sort of messed up. Part of when I say that, part of what I mean is that I just feel like I put the green in, but it doesn't really match this up here. So I'm going to try putting the green back in, but I'm also going to try to play it down a little bit with these crocus leaves. So here's the dark green, and here's the dark green. But I'm not going to go quite as crazy as I did last time. I'm trying to make it look like this continues. And then these little guys here, they've got a wider thing than they do need to have. So I'm just going to take, I have a number 2 brush, and I'm just going to take and use the number 2 with the same dark green and a little bit of chartreuse. I'm just mixing it on my brush, kind of. And I'm just going to come down and make these not quite so prominent. I'm just going to cover them so that they don't stick out like sore thumbs like they do now. And I think that will help. I'm just doing a kind of a wash over them. This one I need to bring up through that. And this one here, I'm just going to do a little wash over these. Oops, I need more oil. Yesterday when we were at the gallery and everybody was trying our paint, it was interesting. You could almost tell who would be an excellent China painter and who would struggle just by the way that they tried to do things. And I really found it interesting. The men and the younger people were really, really good at it. The women seemed to be more, I don't know, kind of concerned about how it turned out. And I think that was it. This one, let me do this here. Okay. And it needs a little more here. Okay. All right. Now I'm taking my liner and I'm taking the darker green and really making those a little more, not quite, trying to make them thinner. There we go. Yeah, some of these are just too thick. That's better. That's better. But you do want that little stripe to show because that is very characteristic, at least around here, of the crocus. I don't know about other crocus, but around here it is. Another thing I learned yesterday, we were talking about scrolling, and we haven't really started scrolling yet. I'm hoping that it'll happen soon. Oops, hang on here. We were talking about the kinds of brushes we use, and of course, and what we use on them. And what I thought was fascinating was that a lot of people, when they're doing work like this, where you're using a scroller and you're just, doing some work on here, they only use turpentine on the brush, only use turpentine. And they find that it seems to help a lot. This guy, I don't really want to do, I don't want to make too much of a fuss on him up here. I do want to kind of clean him up a little. There. I get a little here. Here. Oh. Ah! I know I shouldn't be doing it this with a scroller, but no, I don't like that. Let's get rid of it. There. We'll do it with this. Yeah, I don't. That's better. And we'll do the center with this. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted some color up there. Not a lot, but just some color up there. Okay. Now I look at it and say, what else do I need? The ground needs a little more, and I need some definition on this guy down here. He's just weird. I'm going to try to fix him up here. He's supposed to be kind of rounded, and he didn't really come out the way I expected, so there we go. A little more. I'm just pulling. These are the short guys in the front, and for some reason they always get a little gunky, so okay, there I am. And then my ground needs a little cleaning up, I think, don't you? I need a little more brown on the ground. Ah, come on. I just redid my palette, but for some reason, I think some of these paints have set up and they just have been on there too long. I probably need to. So I'm going this way, side to side, like that. I have to do it this facing me though, unfortunately, because if I keep doing it that way, it's not going to turn out the way I want it to. And I go in between and in between here, and I can pull some of that green back in there and there. And then I'm just going to, there we go. And I don't know that I want it right here. Let's see how that does. Nope, I don't want it there. I have a Q-tip. So I'll pull it out from there. I don't quite want it that. You can use Q-tips to help you with your color too, by just, they're almost like little brushes if you need them. Okay, I think that's a little better. Alrighty, I want a little more depth here. Where am I here? I want a little more depth in here so it looks, where's my blue, don't I have a black green on here? Oh, I don't even have a black green on here. All right, so then I mix my own, huh? I don't have a black. Yeah, I do. Okay. And I'm going to just mix my own. I heard Cheryl Meggs say, well, I just mix my own colors when I need a color. As long as it looks mainly the color you want it to look, that's all. I'm going to take that down there, take that down there, a little there. And I might put a little here too, because it's a nice black green there. Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay, I'm going to say this. Latelier, is that it? Latelier? Hello. Hermoso trabajo. That's something about work. Let me see what it says in the translation. Beautiful work. Thank you. Took Spanish a while ago, but never was my forte. And now I'm just sort of wiping out some of these that I wished I had not buried. And I want to also smooth anywhere it needs smoothing. Now, you know what else I might try? I haven't tried this, but I might try doing it with my sponge like this. You know, the sponge that we put our finger in and just, I'm just touching it. Because I get a lot of strokes, and I don't always want to see strokes. I want it to look smooth and pretty. Yeah, I think that did help. I think that did help. And then I want just a little more violet down here. Okay, and this guy is weird. I think I'm going to make him more violet and bring him around here. I'm going to do this and bring him around the inside. Let's do this. I don't know. That's when I can't see very well. I don't understand this leaf that well, that one that well. But maybe that'll help it a little. Okay, suggestions? Anybody have some suggestions for anything that I missed? Darkening the petals really helped. I think it did. I think this might be a little dark. Let me pat it. I think that might be a little dark. You really, to pat it, you pat it hard the first time like this. And then you just lightly pat it. Yeah, I think that helped a little too. And I don't want it quite this liney. I want it more fuzzy. So let's make it a little more fuzzy. There. Okay, I think that's a little better. Anybody? Looks good. Thank you, Carol. Louise, you always have really good suggestions. What am I missing? Don't be afraid to tell me. I'd rather you tell me than I find out after I fired it. You're always good about suggestions. So if you have any suggestions, speak up, please. I would appreciate it. Because your best work is when people can give you some feedback on it. And Latelier, can you tell me if you see anything that, I hope I'm saying that right, that might need a little bit of oomph. I think this one needs a little, I know I covered them up, but I think they need a little, there we go. This is a much smaller eraser. Looks good, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, all right. I don't want to go much darker. I'm afraid if I go much darker, I might ruin it. Oh, it's not signed. You all know how to sign, I'm sure. I just use, let me show you how I do mine, just in case you're new and you don't know how to do it. Looks good. I see one white spot above the lower left flower. I would get rid of. Oh, here or here? What, number 1 or number 2 or 3? Which one? 1, 2, or 3? 1, 2, or 3? I think you're probably talking about this one here. Oh, 3, really? Okay. Better? Huh. Interesting. It always helps to have another set of eyes. There we go. Okay. I'm going to put it down while you tell me if it's any better. And I'm going to bring this up and I'm going to show you how I mix. I just use my regular paint. So in this case, I think I want it to be a ruby. So I'm just taking some of my ruby paint that's already mixed. And I'm putting it on here, okay? This is my quick and dirty. Now, if you haven't used, perfect, thank you. If you haven't used pen oil, then you probably shouldn't try this. I'm using my regular stuff, which is my, I use the Turp Natural for painting on this plate. I don't use it all the time. I use it sometimes. And I just mix it until it's, you know, about the same thickness as the pen should be. Now, the way you know that, if you can get enough, and I don't really have enough here, but yeah, is to get it to drip off the end of your thing. Oh, it's going to drip. Go, 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 go. Drip already. See the drip? Boing. Okay. That's how you know your pen oil or whatever you're using is perfect for what you want to do. Now this looks a lot darker. It's not going to fire this dark. And I can see there are places I'm going to have to fix this up a little too. Okay. I don't want it quite that. Hang on. I took off some of the pink and I think I should have put more pink back on there. Okay. Alrighty. And then I'm going to take my pen. Where's my pen here? And I'm going to just get it on the side of my brush, my side of my pen. I just scoop my pen in it, and I'm just going to write at the bottom, and we'll see. It's better to let the paint that you're writing over set up for a little while, too. This is a little runny. It's a little runny. I'm just going to take it off and try it again. Another way to get it unrunny is to put a little more paint in it, if you need to. Just take a little more paint. Got some American Beauty here that's kind of gunky, and that should fix it right up. Okay, here we go. All right. K-O-R-I-N. Oops. N-E. One thing I learned, I thought it was really interesting, was when I was first learning to paint, They always said you could tell a good artist because they really did a good job of hiding their name, trying to keep it low profile, not smack dab out there in the middle of everything. Then the more I talked to people, they said, well, yeah, but you know, some of the artists didn't even sign their stuff. So you don't know if you have an original. So I would say sign, don't date. So, okay, that's it. That was my surprise. Let me come on here. Let's move it up so I can see you again, huh? Up, over. There we go. That's a little better. Yeah, that's much better. So, okay, so now you see how much darker this is. This is what I'm aiming for. And I think when it fires, we will see this, I think. Because I always lose, especially with purples and pinks. For me, I always lose some of the ability to, you know, some of the life, some of the deepness of the richness of the color. So I would not be surprised if I lost a little. So, okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed this surprise, and that just shows you that all I do is add back the depth. Anytime I'm in the process of doing a third fire, you're looking for depth and light, the extremes, and you're just filling those in so that the whole piece reflects, it looks better, and so it doesn't look too flat. So, alrighty, pick up those brushes, keep painting. Have a wonderful weekend, and thank you for your help, Louise. Bye-bye.